Now, if you think properly, you'll say how we can have our chances increased in scoring. Obviously, everybody would say, well, if we get the ball behind the back line and we receive it there and we attempt on target, we are going to score. That would be a 1v1 striker against the goalkeeper. Ideally, the best scenario is 1v0, no goalkeeper. That's not going to happen, yeah? So 1v1, fantastic, good. So if we see at that space, the space behind the back line, that would be the green one, yeah? We have to ask ourselves, how we get the ball in here? What is the previous space to get the ball in here? And the previous space to get the ball in here, probably it's the space behind the opposing midfielders and ahead of the back line, the so-called space between lines. Yeah, the space between lines, right? And we have to follow the same process. If we want to access the space between lines, where do we have to have the ball? We have to have the ball probably behind the strikers, but ahead of the opposing midfielders. And that would be, you can put the name that you want. I'm just telling our names. That could be the initial progression spaces. I will be saying these names throughout these 2 days, so don't worry. Now it's everything really new, but don't worry. And when we have the ball in the initial progression spaces, there's a space that I find it beautiful myself, that it's the safe spaces, the spaces where we always have numerical advantage, always. There's no way in which we cannot have numerical advantage. There's no way, because soccer it's not 11v11. That's the first question. That's the first mistake. Soccer it's not 11v11. It would never be. It's 11 versus 10. Because that guy doesn't come here. So you all get that, no? Soccer, no. What is no game? 11v11. No. Soccer it's 11v10. So we always have a numerical advantage. That normally lays in here. Those spaces change depending on what defenders do. And they can do a lot of things. What defenders do, how these spaces change, how we can get advantages in them, it's something that we are going to see tomorrow. Because that, it's described in the game model. Right now, I just want you to get this picture. That in order to get this 1v1 situation against the goalkeeper, maybe, if that's the last space, we need to progressively conquer all the previous spaces that appear in the game. Maybe. Next slide, Bernie. Maybe. Or maybe not. Vertical play, come on, click it. Reach the space behind the back line as fast as possible. So, you can click them now, all of them, the spaces. We have safe spaces, that's for sure, yeah, because the numerical advantage, we cannot remove it from the game. Teams that play vertical, they generally use as well the initial progression spaces, they do this. They use as well the outer spaces, but these teams, probably, the process that they have behind their minds is very simple. We want to reach the space behind the back line, we are going to reach it as fast as possible. So once they have done couple of passes in the zone of center backs, bada boom. Long ball, bada boom. It's useful. It might be, absolutely. I'm not here to say that vertical teams are not good teams. I have played against lots of them, and I'm nobody to say that this is not a worth style or a valid style to play. I'm just saying that from where they have a numerical advantage till where is the backline, they want to play with the less number of passes possible. And when we compare this to the positional play, no, I could say positional play, it's to try to get numerical superiorities behind the lines of pressure, blah, 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 very difficult. Positional play, biggest difference, this one. that we constantly seek the space between lines. We constantly want to get the ball behind the opposing midfielders, ahead of the backline. Why? Because somebody thinks that if we get the ball there and we pass it from there, the pass is going to be better to the striker. There's people that doesn't think that way. There's people that says, no, you have the ball with your center backs, you have to get it to the striker, so we're going to do a direct pass. And there's people that says, no, we're going to play to the center backs, then the midfielders, and the midfielders who are higher up on the pitch, they have higher chances of giving a better pass to the striker. And that's positional play. Positional play. Center backs, midfielders, forwards. Vertical play. Center backs, forwards. What space that does not exist in vertical play when compared to positional play? The space between lines. What space is that? The space behind opposing midfielders and the backline. And this is something in a very simplistic way. Tomorrow we'll make it much more complex that I think it can be useful.